upgraded internet in the ghetto, and then me, I still think
you got it?
Yeah, I got it, man. I got
Oh,
it.
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
And I told you your place was ghetto, Ricky. I got that shit first.
That's such
Yes.
bullshit.
Baldwin Park gets it before wherever the hell you live. I know you like that shit.
So stupid. Plus, I got that stupid ass Eris router that's supposed to have all this shit, and I don't even get it.
You're probably gonna get it really soon, though.
I'm better. Stupid bitches. Fuck Time Warner, man.
You know,
When I heard you say that too, I was like, I went on speed test immediately. Like, come on, please, please. She only went up to 20. I was like, son of a bitch. Are you kidding me?
Wait, so what do you have now, Eric? 200? 100?
325 up
And 325 down.
325 down, 20 up.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think that means you can downgrade one step and put 320 up.
What?
Because you don't need a 300 down. I can pretty much guarantee you that now. Yeah, check that out.
Holy shit.
Discounts.
Fuck the music. Say that again. What did you say?
My plan right now is 200/20. So if
I
you
don't
can,
need 325 down.
right, exactly. I don't the 200 down. Like I can barely push it. Like the only thing that did that for me was Steam, and I got Ultra Street Fighter 4 in 5 minutes or something, which is
Wow,
awesome.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly, you don't need it.
So you're telling me, okay, so what's up, Internet? It's Thursday. Sorry, I got excited right there. It's Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. I'm joined by Ricksta and Rip, and we have a special guest today, Steven Johnson, who I feel like that's a fake name, but it's apparently a real name. What's up, Subtle? How's it going, playa?
Everything is going great.
All right,
yeah,
excellent.
My name sucks, dude.
Why? I like it. Steven Johnson? It sounds made up. It sounds like like you must be a cop.
Yeah, right? It's like,
made up
dude,
name.
and so, like, it's part of, like, I'm named after, like, a bird, first of all. Like, my mom was so inventive, she named me after a bird, which she called Steven.
Birds are sick. I like birds.
Birds are sick.
And then, like, Steven Johnson's disease is, like, the worst disease in, like, the goddamn world.
Well, I'm not familiar with the disease, but I didn't even know it was a disease. That's kind of a
Yeah,
bummer. That's like
it's-
naming your kid Downs.
Yeah,
or something.
seriously.
or
Yeah,
a-
but I think you got a sick R&B name if you went with Stevie J.
Stevie
Stevie
J's
J
good?
is a sick name.
Isn't there already a Stevie J? Or there's a Stevie B, right?
Yeah, but that guy sucks.
That's
He's not a
true.
Stevie J.
All right, well, Stevie J is our guest
Is our
on the
guest.
podcast, and he's gonna give us some details on Strong Style. We're gonna really pick him apart to see what all the details are about that tournament. But before we get to all that, there's a bunch of shit I want to talk about. The first thing was the thing that got me all hyped up right when we were getting into the show is, so 2 days ago, or like a day and a half ago, fucking the internet goes out. Like everything dies. I'm super pissed off. I go on the Twitter. Maximilian is complaining because his internet's out. And this guy lives like 50 miles away from me, and he's on Time Warner.
Did you know that Time Warner thing was almost like nationwide? Like
I
people
heard
in
that.
New York were bitching. People in San Antonio were bitching about it.
I heard
This is
about that.
crazy.
So they had a national outage of internet. I mean, the whole U.S. lost Time Warner cable, right? I was pissed. Everyone's pissed. That shit comes back, and last night it goes out again, this time while I was streaming. So this morning I wake up, and someone's like, hey, I heard the outages are because of upgrades. I do a speed test, and this motherfucker's doing like 325 down, 20 up. Time Warner has never done shit like that, ever. And now it's like super high upgrade for free. So I'm super amped up. And Rip just told me that I could downgrade what they call turbo, which I was getting fucked on for the last 2 years. Now I could downgrade, right? I still will get 20 upload?
just double check when you ask them to make sure your area is the same as mine in terms of the plans. But my plan is definitely not 300 down, and I still have 20 up.
That is majestic. I'm so excited. That means not only is this a free upgrade, but I'm going to be able to save money every month. Time Warner, I take back everything I said about you. I love you guys.
Time Warner.
Yeah,
Time Warner,
Warner.
you can suck my dick.
I've been a fan from the beginning, Time Warner, and I will be a fan till the grave. Thank you, amigos. So
Fuck you guys, Time Warner. God, such bitches, dude.
Ricky still lives in the fucking shantytown ghetto, so they haven't gotten that shit yet.
Are
Wherever
you
the
kidding
hell
me,
he
dude?
lives.
You live in like the worst place ever.
I think it's clear now that who
Yeah.
lives in more of a ghetto neighborhood. Okay, so huge
bullshit.
shout out to Time Warner.
Fuck
Nice
'em.
upgrade. I love it. Is there anything we have to add about that? Because I'm just super amped about it. Okay, next topic.
Yeah, there's nothing to add.
And I think this is something that everyone might chime in on. So big news this week, so big that my mom told me about it, was Amazon acquires Twitch TV. Now, personally speaking, everyone had been talking about how Google had their eyes on Twitch. I heard that made it to news website. ABC News was talking about Google trying to buy Twitch. And I, including a shitload of people, were not too happy about that. Just because of the way Google likes to stick their fingers in everything and make you incorporate YouTube and Google Plus and all kinds of bullshit. And then they did that archive muting thing. So everyone was like, okay, this must be a YouTube kind of a implementation here. And out of nowhere, Amazon acquires Twitch TV, which to me is great news, way better news than Google acquiring Twitch TV. I personally, though I don't like to talk shit about Google because I feel like they're gonna get you somehow, but I'm happy, I'm excited. Amazon's cool. I've been a fan of Amazon since I called in for customer service and they knew everything about me right when they answered the phone. I was like, whoa. It was incredible. So anyway, what do you guys think about this acquisition? And more importantly, what does it really mean for Twitch users and streamers? I'm going to go with you first, Rip, because you know what you're talking about half the time. Go ahead.
I have no idea what's going on. But
Nice.
in this situation, no, actually, yeah, I don't know what it actually means in terms of users and end users and all. But it makes me think that the reason they did the muting archive things was because Amazon doesn't have something in place for this already. So they, just to be on the safe side, they wanted Twitch to implement something like what YouTube has, right? Separate from that, the things that might be good out of it is they might merge Amazon Prime with Twitch Turbo or something. So maybe if you're an Amazon Prime member, you don't get ads on Twitch anymore. So that would be cool. Also, maybe they could work something out where if you're partnered on Twitch, you could get some kind of cutback from selling things or linking for people to buy stuff through Amazon. So that would also be good for us. One of the downsides I see though is that Amazon doesn't really sell a lot of ads, and that was something that YouTube was a lot better at, I thought. So I don't know how that's gonna play out long term, but it is what it is. So I guess we'll just see how things go.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. What do you think, Ricky?
I mean, either way, it was like Google bad, Amazon better. So, I mean, I really don't know what it's gonna do for me as a viewer, mainly. As a streamer, I mean, I'm a bullshit streamer anyway, so I could, I'm getting muted all day, so I don't really care. But like, I know, but it's like for other people that maybe you can buy an album on Amazon and then you have the rights to it now because you bought it, right?
Whoa.
Can you stream it then? Who knows?
I didn't think about that. Unlikely.
I mean, it doesn't sound like you could because that's just like hey, look, I got all this free shit. Let me give it to you guys. So
that's like saying, hey, I bought this Blu-ray. Let me stream it for you guys.
I own it. Yeah, you own it, but you can't make money off of it. I think that's.
But then maybe it's easier for them to get maybe there's a Twitch only Amazon music page that
that's
can get
true.
through. So I mean, the implementation will be interesting to see.
Implementation, huh?
Implementation, incrimination.
You gotta add some ointment to heal that inflammation. I've had some inflammation in my hip the last few days. That's why I didn't make it to Wednesday Night Fights, which we'll get to.
You should get that checked out, dude.
Yeah, I'm about to get it checked out. Inflammation. Steven Johnson, what are your thoughts on the Amazon acquisition for Twitch?
In general, I think it's a really good, in terms of what the alternative was, I think it's really good. I think if there's a downside to it, is I think they had the content ID system, the way that it was implemented was kind of okay, we have something in place now, and then YouTube's going to take over later and do whatever they do with their thing.
Yeah. So
I don't know where that falls with Amazon. It really kind of puts that all up into the air, because if they keep using the same thing that they're doing now, I mean, it's just going to be this going forward for the next, until whenever they decide to address it. So, but I think in terms of money, it makes sense for Amazon because they already bought Twin Galaxies or
Double Helix.
Double Helix.
And I mean, all the Double Helix guys that I've talked to, they seem like it's been a pretty good relationship.
Stoked, right? Yeah, everyone I've talked to about it seems really stoked about that purchase of their development studio as well. So that's cool. But the thing that you mentioned, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I've been watching some streams lately, and I've heard a lot of the streamers saying, and this is just a rumor, that they're going to try to make the muting system on Twitch more pinpointed. So if you play a song that is like copywritten, it's gonna try to mute just the song. I heard that's the direction they're going, and instead of taking out a 30-minute chunk, like huge penalty, they'll just mute just when the song ends. So that would be cool. I don't know if that's a rumor or not, but hopefully it goes in that direction. I mean, we'll see. We don't know exactly what Amazon's policy is on stuff like that, like you said, Steven. So we'll see about that. Overall, I think it's a good thing. Overall, I think everyone can be pretty excited about it. I think it's better news than Google acquiring Twitch, personally. You guys have anything else to add about that topic before we move on?
Well, I was just going to say that Amazon has a bunch of software engineers, and they're really, I think, a lot more advanced than like the server side of things. So I felt like that was something that Twitch is kind of lacking in always, which is why we have like the 30-second delay, etc. I think, they just don't have the engineering power to handle everything. But also at the same time, I heard that Amazon's going to be really hands off about this. They're just going to let Twitch do their thing, which I don't know where that leaves us. So we'll see how things go.
Well, even if they're hands off about it, just Twitch utilizing Amazon's resources might be all they needed, So maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe I've heard that too. They did like interviews with the guy. I forgot the CEO of Twitch. I forgot his name. It's something kind of
Emmett
odd.
Shear?
Yeah, Emmett Shear. He did something where he was talking about basically they're just going to continue the way they're doing it, and the way he made it sound was he's still taking the reins and he's still going to do things the way they've been doing it. So that's kind of cool. I think that could be a good thing, especially if they're able to use Amazon's like endless power. Amazon's huge. They're creating fucking drones that are going to deliver your package to your door soon. So who knows? Who knows what that means, but I'm excited.
Yeah, Amazon does they do all the server stuff for like the biggest websites out there too. So I mean, if there's any good like benefit between that, Amazon could boost the power of Twitch.
Really beautiful.
Really well.
Sounds beautiful to me. I'm excited. So Time Warner got an upgrade. Twitch got an upgrade. Rixta didn't get shit. I mean, this is a great week so far. Okay. What are the other shits we wanted to talk about? I know Wednesday Night Fights happened last night. We'll wait for that one. How about that Killer Instinct update you were telling me about, Rip?
Yeah, so Killer Instinct Season 2 is coming out September 23rd. That's when they're going to release the first character, TJ Combo. But along with that, they're also going to release balance updates for the original 8 characters. And at first, I thought it was just going to be, some minor updates here and there, but they've really gone and revamped all 8 original characters. Fulgore, who's only like, I think, 6 months old, not even maybe, he's getting totally revamped. Like the way he builds meter is totally changed. They're giving characters new moves. They're taking away other moves that didn't really work out well. They added air combo breakers and air counter breakers now. So
Wow.
The system is very much updated, and it's interesting. I don't know how to feel about it, because on one hand I feel like, well, it feels like the game I played doesn't really matter anymore. Like I kind of have to relearn everything, but not everything. Just things are just going to be different now. So it's kind of like moving from Tekken 5 to DR in a way. So all these characters kind of have some new moves and stuff. Everything's kind of rebalanced. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analogy, actually.
System changes too. I mean, 5.0 had tech catches and shit. They took all that stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And most of their changes do seem pretty logical. There's only like 1 or 2 things I was like, why the hell would you do that? But it's probably has to do with all the other system mechanic changes that they introduced. So everything seems to make a lot of sense. I'm interested to try it out.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now, let me ask you this. So I'm not too familiar, but I know that they kind of are stealing or borrowing the League of Legends model of, like, the game's free to play and they have a rotating character for free. Now, is this season update similar to the updates that League of Legends gets? Because I've heard that League of Legends players, sometimes when there's an update, they're like, what the fuck? This shit's whack. I'm quitting. They're big changes that happen. Is this comparable to that?
It's similar in a way, but not really. I mean, this is more of a season thing for them. So they have like a schedule. It's like 8 characters that we're going to do a major rebalancing, and then another 8 characters probably, and then another major rebalancing. League of Legends has this more of a patch system where even though it's season 3, between season 3 and 4, you might get a couple of major updates. Ricky, you have anything to add to this?
Season 4 and Season 3 were pretty different, though, for League of Legends. Like,
right.
They always do one, like, this is like the major patch, like for... League of Legends does it like a major patch every few, years, for seasons. And I guess it seems like Killer Instinct's going the same route with that, too. Like, I don't know how often they patch the game within the first, season or whatever. But
Right.
this
I
one's
know.
a pretty major patch for a new season. Which so it's to me it's a lot like League of Legends in that way.
Yeah, but the patches they've had in season one for Killer Instinct were mainly like bug fixes.
Yeah,
Like, oh, this
minor.
character was not supposed to have that kind of a thing. Let's just remove that kind of thing. So, that is very minimal compared to what they're doing now, and it's going to be really interesting. I just want to see how it plays out long term. But it does look like they didn't really totally nerf any characters. Even characters that were tops before, like Saberwolf,
Hmm.
like he has new stuff that makes him stronger, but they've also tweaked the stuff that made him strong before. So in general, it looks like they did a pretty good job of buffing characters and making everyone stronger. And the characters that got nerfs, they have new strengths because of new system mechanics. So it's basically a new game.
Yeah, the people whose hands it's in now definitely know what they're doing when it comes to fighting games. I know Bucktooth is involved, and also Keats, right? So,
Right.
and I'm sure there's a larger group of people who know what they're doing. So that's good. That's cool. I also like the idea how they kind of took a project that was already being developed by a group of people, and they're kind of putting their own twist on the stuff that already was released, which is cool because this is a new team and we're gonna get to see what their vision of Killer Instinct is. So I kind of like that they don't just take what was already done and say, okay, we like that the way it is, let's just add on top of it. This is kind of like a from scratch rebalance, and I like that because it gives the players an idea of how these people think. Really cool. Overall, I think that's a cool thing. Of
Yeah,
course,
and just
go ahead.
I'll say just to follow up on what you just said, like that made me really nervous at first because I had the feeling that was the direction they were going to go. Like put their own spin on the game.
Yeah.
But after seeing today when they actually showed the video, and I think I tweeted it just a little while ago actually, their video archive from today, which showed all the characters changes. I feel a lot more comfortable about it. So it seems like it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Anything else to add about this issue? I don't really know much else about it, but I'm amped up to see what the big changes are, especially if Saber Dog is now, not that good.
Sabretooth, dude.
Sabretooth is not that good.
Sabretooth is still going to be good. Orchid's going to be even better. Sedaris looks worse, but combo breakers or counter breakers in the air might make her decent still. We'll see.
Yeah, she's jumping around all the time. I don't know. Interesting. I want to see it. I want to see how the game pans out. Okay. Next topic. Let's go on to, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, Pokken. So Namco announces a new like a cross game between Pokemon and at least the developers of Tekken. Harada has announced that this fighting game is not going to have any guest characters from Tekken. So, and you released a video, which is basically where I'm getting all this information from, Rip. But you released a video on your YouTube channel, Level Up Your Game, kind of going over the details on this announcement. Essentially, it's just a Pokemon fighting game. When asked about whether or not it's 1v1, Harada has said, we can't talk about it yet, but we have ideas. So I don't think it's going to be a 1v1 only game. It has been confirmed to be an arcade release, which is a big deal, actually. What do we think about this? This is pretty interesting news. It's being developed by the development team of Tekken. It involves Pokemon characters, which is just fucking money bags nonstop. There is a little bit of footage about the game, which the footage doesn't look too complex, and I have heard Harada say that it's not going to have a mid, low, high mix-up game. So the system is kind of up in the air. We're not sure how that works, but all we know is that it's going to get an arcade release. I mean, you tell me, Rip, you've done more research than myself, and then we'll move down to see what everyone else thinks.
Well, I mean, I just think it's really interesting. It's so rare, I feel like, where you get this third party with their own IP that's like, hey, we need a game made, and you guys know how to make games like this. Why don't you make a game like this for us? And that kind of a dream project scenario is pretty rare, like I just said. But it's interesting that's happened with Pokemon, which, like you said, basically prints money. And the more interesting part about it is that Pokemon is basically owned by Nintendo. So when it hits console, I don't think it's going to come to anything but a Nintendo platform. And it's surprising that whatever agreement they have is also allowing them to put it in the arcades as well. And so, I mean, I feel like Bandai Namco has some kind of deal with Nintendo because they also helped them make Smash Brothers earlier this year, and now they're doing this game.
True.
So there's something going on there, and it's interesting because I was actually thinking like maybe there's like some kind of Japanese thing, like like Japanese companies trying to keep each other alive. Like maybe there's some Japanese pride there. I have no idea. I'm just speculating because of Capcom and Namco working together, and then now Nintendo and Namco working together. It's interesting, but yeah, this game specifically. The thing that got me was when Harada said it's going to be competitive action, not competitive fighting game.
Huh.
So for him to call it out specifically like that makes me think that it's not necessarily catered to the fighting game audience and fighting games as you know them, but it's still going to be competitive in some way. So there's definitely going to be, and in my thought is there definitely has to be some kind of competitive aspect that's skill based for it to warrant being in an arcade where you pay
Right.
to play.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I mean, there's so much in question here. The arcade release aspect of this information is really what makes it interesting. I agree with you because it has to be skill based and competitive if you're going to put in credits and play over and over against an opponent, So who knows what type of a system it's going to be? Who knows what type of an arcade setup it's going to be? Whether it's going to use joysticks or if you're going to sit in some kind of machine with tons of fucking weird levers and shit. Who knows?
Pokeballs everywhere.
Yeah, Pokeballs. You gotta put them in your mouth. Who knows
You
what
got to
you
throw
gotta
them
do.
into something. That'll be
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean there are so many possibilities. But it seems interesting to me, like you said. I personally am not very interested in Pokemon. I never got into it, but the concept is great. And as far as like hype goes, the last time I feel like anything this like out of the blue in terms of a relationship out of nowhere happened was Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Because I remember back at that time, everyone was like, yeah, comic books are sick, Wolverine's sick. We also love Street Fighter and Capcom games. They're awesome. They're dominating the arcades. Out of nowhere, these two things come out together in the arcade, and everyone's like, holy shit, this is dope. So I don't know. Maybe they can capture that kind of like awesome like attention from the arcade goers with this new idea. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to this, Ricky?
Well, I mean, you said something right there that kind of interests me. I don't think Pokemon has ever had an arcade game, so
I don't know.
but Pokemon is huge, so
Huge.
it's not like anyone that goes into an arcade in Japan is gonna be like, "What the hell is this? What's a
Right.
Pokemon?"
Right.
They're gonna go in and then you'll be like, "Oh shit,
Holy
Pikachu!"
shit, Pikachu.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so oh god, Tasty Steve had like
Oh,
the
yeah.
hugest he just went on Twitter and he just wrote a novel, just like
Mm-hmm.
mashing his face on the keyboard, talking about all these ideas that he had for the
Mm-hmm.
game, and it was like I could see all of them coming true, because it makes sense. Like he was talking about how like maybe you play single player mode to get Pokemon or whatever, because the actual Pokemon, like the game itself, is not like everyone has access to all the characters. You have to
You gotta catch
collect.
'em.
Yeah, you have to collect the characters, catch them. So like the idea in my mind when Steve was talking about it, it's like maybe it's like you just like you might not have access to Pikachu, but someone else does. It's like
Yeah.
it's gonna be something like that where you're gonna obviously there's no way this is gonna not go without like a banana card or whatever the hell. So it's gonna have all that kind of cool
What?
shit.
Banana card.
The Banner Pass.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Banana
So I mean,
card.
so it's, you're gonna have all that little like customization type of things. Uh, it's easy to tell that this game is probably not gonna be too complex. So like,
Could be a
'cause
lot of Pokemon, right?
yeah, I mean, but and it won't be too complex. 'Cause, I mean, because you're gonna have to have kids playing it as well as adults. Like, so I mean, when I went to Japan in 2011, I went to the Pokemon Center, which is like a little Pokemon store in the mall or something, right? And me and my group of friends were there, and I'm pretty sure my group of friends and I were 15 years older than the next person. I mean, no one in there was like over the age of 12 except for us. So it's like, I mean, it's gonna be, it has to be more simple for, kids
Everyone.
like that.
Yeah.
So for all the Kate Roberts out there, it's for them to feel competitive. So it'll be interesting. There's so many different ideas and so many different directions they can go with it. So I'm excited. It's just gonna be weird for us in America because I don't know how that's gonna work without an arcade release unless somewhere some arcades get it.
Okay, let me pause right there and ask you guys. So Rip mentioned there's never been a Pokemon game on any other console other than Nintendo consoles, right? Has there ever been any kind of Nintendo-owned license that's been on other consoles? Is there any chance that this will get a multi-console release? Any
I
of you guys?
highly doubt it.
No.
So
don't
chances
see
are
that.
we're gonna get an arcade release and then a Wii U and a DS port.
Probably just Wii U even. Unless they made it like DS is where you go capture your stuff and then you play with them in your.
Dude, integrated. That's an excellent point. Another thing I wanted to mention that Ricky mentioned is they could have some hella addictive single player mode in that arcade where you go through that shit, you farm, you fucking grind it out, find your Pokemon, level them up, and then you duke it out in versus mode. There are the fact that people like Tasty Steve and Ricksta and everyone else are getting all idea juices flowing and shit. That's a good thing. That means everyone's hype about it. You know, even not 12-year-olds like these clowns. You know, it's a perfect idea. What do you think, Steven Johnson? What are your thoughts on this whole Pokken?
All right, so feel free to stop me if I start getting too long-winded.
Cut it out. Let's end it. Go ahead.
So right now, there's another game that's doing really, really big in Japan. It's called Yokai Watch, and
Okay.
basically it's a Pokemon ripoff, but it's monster capturing. You capture monsters, and what they've done is they've released this peripheral where you can attach it to your wrist, and it's a watch basically, and you put discs in them, and then it makes noises, and all the kids are going crazy for it. That's the
Whoa.
current trend that's going on in Japan.
Dope.
So if I'm thinking that Namco is gonna like basically Yokai Watch is taking the wind out of Pokemon sales right now in Japan.
Really?
It is killing and making money. It is the money printing game right now in Japan.
Okay, so maybe they're trying to dip in.
Yeah, so I mean this is why I think Nintendo's probably more willing to pull the trigger on arcade release. And by the way, like Namco did release Mario Kart Arcade as well.
Ooh, okay. Good
So
information there.
They have a good relationship going on. So Yokai Watch has an arcade game. It's not really like a game, but it's like made for 6-year-olds and 5-year-olds and shit. And
Okay.
they go and they put in their watch or whatever, it scans. They play this little mini game, and then they get this little disc that they can use later on and put into their thing. It's just this continuous loop of kids going to this machine, playing the game once a day, and coming back with something else that constantly renews it, trading all the other stuff. And so when I saw this come up, and I'm thinking about like them trying to fight Yokai Watch on their own ground, like I could totally see them doing something where they go and they have vending machines with Pokeballs in it.
Yeah.
And you get a Pokeball, and then on the machine you would have like 3 or 4 slots that you could put your Pokeballs down on, and that would be like your team, like a CVS team, or like how Pokemon's set up, where you fight one monster and then you fight them, and it's kind of like you have that meta game where it's like this person might be playing water Pokemon or fire Pokemon, then you have to like set it up in the order that you're going to counter everything. So I think that just because they're trying to get more Pokemon people out there instead of like fighting game people, it's going to be a lot more like Pokemon. It's probably going to be like using the moves whenever you want to use them, sort of thing. And I think it definitely is going to be really high in merchandise. So
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, arcades are kind of like a dying breed, both in America and in Japan. So if they're gonna keep the arcade alive, they really need to add something new to the mix. It can't just be put a credit in and play. There has to be either a Bana Pass or even what you're saying with a watch or some kind of toy peripheral to integrate kind of another aspect of collecting into the arcade experience. It all sounds good to me. I really hope it works out. I'm a big fan of arcades, even though we don't have them anymore in the U.S., and I really would like to see arcades, have some kind of success, so we'll see. All sound like feasible, good ideas. I think the Pokken announcement is an excellent, it's excellent news altogether. And you also mentioned it in your video, Rip, that Harada has said he has 2 other unannounced projects that he's working on. So if you clump everything they're working on together, Tekken 7, Cross Street Fighter, I mean, it's like, holy shit, when are these guys sleeping? It's like they got a lot of shit to do. I really hope that does not compromise the quality of each of those products, which I don't think it will. If anyone could do it, they can. But yeah, they got a lot of shit going on over there. Do we have anything else to add about this whole Pokken concept? I mean, we were just basically waiting to see what else comes out. Anything else to add? Sounds good to me. Okay, next topic. Did I...
Super Arcade?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yesterday I put on my shoes, getting ready to go to Super Arcade for Wednesday Night Fights, and I just decided, I have a little bit of a limp, and I want to let it heal since we have Strong Style coming up at the end of September. I want to be able to walk for that. So I thought I'd, chill out, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch the stream. I'm waiting for the stream to come up, and there's no stream. And then I hit up Charles. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? There's no stream. He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. Watson has a new rule at Super Arcade where people can't stream from the arcade. It's the new rule. The only way to stream out of Super Arcade now is to either stream through Level Up Live, which is via stream, and that's been like the main source of stream revenue and everything, or to stream out of Super Arcade's new channel, which is called Super Arcade. I'm not sure what the Twitch channel is, and this is a new rule. So in exchange for not allowing, let's say, SoCal Tekken or even Wonder Chef or anyone else to stream any of the other games, they're showing Tekken Tag 2's top 3 on their main stream again. So this is kind of bittersweet, and I don't really know much of the details. Can you guys add anything to that I missed? Rip, Ricksta, you guys were there yesterday. Did I miss anything with these rules?
No, I think that's about it. The thing is, I wasn't sure because Tom's not really like, I don't know what the word is. Well, it's not like I don't like, I think when Watson told him like, oh, you can't stream, he's like, okay, I don't think he's informed about like what was really going on. So I thought Tom was gonna stream Tekken, but on the Super Jojo channel rather than, his channel. But he didn't get to stream at all. So I don't know whether Watson isn't going to let him do it, or or if he would, So I mean, that's something that we'll figure out eventually. The top 3 on the stream too, we weren't even like really planning on doing that. We just went up and asked, and they said, "Oh, Street Fighter will be 30 more minutes," and then everyone
Like
that
an
was
hour.
in top 3, yeah, and it'd be an hour. Everyone in top 3 just said, let's just wait anyways, and we'll just be on the on the main stream anyway. So I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But it's not the greatest thing. But
Well, okay, let me ask you a couple of questions to clarify. First of all, what do you guys know what the logic is behind Watson no longer allowing people to stream from his arcade? Because from my perspective, and I haven't spoken to him, but from my perspective, allowing people to stream out of your venue during tournament day, all it does is help you because it brings people into the arcade, and that's what you want, right? I can't really imagine what he would get off of streaming Tekken off of his channel, considering Tekken doesn't get more than like 300 views at a time. It's not like you're really going to get, cash in by getting those 300 views. So I don't really understand the rationale in the first place. And my second question is, so you're telling me that this top 3 Tekken thing on the mainstream, is that not going to be for sure every week? So those are my 2 questions. Either of you, do you have an answer for that?
I think the top 3 thing is going to be whenever we feel like it. It's not like this is your spot. You know what I mean? Like, but as is, the focus has been for so long now, Street Fighter, because we have had our own stream. So, I mean, I think, I think they don't have an issue with it. It's just a matter of whether we want to wait for it.
And logistically, that is a problem, right? Because the Tekken tournament, winds down to top 3 like an hour and a half before top 3 is aired on the mainstream. So
Right.
that is a hassle for people who want to watch it live there in person, as well as the top 3 placers and the commentators too. So,
Right. I mean, realistically, they have to interrupt the Street Fighter tournament to finish our tournament, and then come back to Street Fighter while they ran their like half of their top 8 or something off stream. Which is going to be a bummer for anyone watching the stream for Street Fighter, obviously.
yeah. I don't know. And another thing is the stream overlay was clearly not equipped for Tekken Tag 2. The overlay was blocking the second life bars, which is pretty important when you're watching a match. You have no idea how much health the
I don't
second
know,
character
man. It
has.
was kind of fun. It was kind of fun.
That should
It
be
was
a
fun.
mode.
it was fun
Yeah.
for us. We were like, Rip was just like, and he's gonna tag Anna. She has no health. Comes in with like 80% health. Like, told you,
Life
no
bar.
health.
Yeah, I mean,
That should be in the game, dude. The game
Yeah.
should have a mode like that.
it's possible. Who knows? I mean, the whole idea was kind of, it was fucked up, but it was cool because on the one hand, everyone who wanted to watch the whole tournament was kind of bent out of shape. But when you guys got up there, and I forget who was top 3. I know Run It Black got his shit pushed in by Dr. Dog or whatever his name was.
And MYK.
And MYK. But the chat was really liking the commentary, and especially because I agree with this. Both you and Ricksta, Rip, both of you guys came up there and you followed up the Street Fighter commentators who were just shitty. Like, the Street Fighter commentators were all just snore fests. No excitement, no hype. As soon as you guys got on, the chat room was like, damn, these guys are hyped. These guys are more hyped than the Street Fighter guys. And I agreed. It was like a clear change of tone, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing for Tekken. Exposure-wise, that's a great thing for Tekken. And you're really utilizing the quality in not only players, but as well as commentators. So that aspect of it, I really liked. But it is kind of fucked up that we're not going to get to see the rest of the tournament because of this new rule. So I don't
Yeah.
really understand the rationale. Neither of you guys really know why
Well,
this is a new rule.
well, I mean, before we get even that far, I mean, Vietnam Tom was recording the matches last night, so I
Mhm.
assume he's going to upload them to YouTube.
Very
We
good.
had 2 or 3 setups, and he was only recording for one of them, obviously, so you won't see the whole tournament. But there were some cool matches, like I beat the shit out of James last night. That's going
That's
to be
good.
recorded. It's on YouTube.
Fantastic.
Running Black beat the shit out of me. That's going to be on YouTube too. But
Fantastic.
shit happens. But yeah, the rationale, my thing has always been, you have this arcade here. You run Wednesday Night Fights. There's thousands of viewers, but all the sub money is going to level up, and everyone would come to the arcade as long as you had the setups for it anyway, and you could just run the tournament because he's running the brackets anyway. So I assume he has some kind of deal with Alex to get in on the level up cash, whatever.
Yeah,
But
of
I don't know if
course.
that's true.
It is.
I mean,
It is.
okay,
I mean,
right.
I know how that works. I mean, basically, Via pays Watson a cut of the entrance, and that's the deal they have. I don't know if there's a newer deal or a different deal, but
But see, that doesn't cover all the streaming, right?
you're right.
I mean,
You're right.
because entrance wise is nothing compared to viewer wise.
I don't
which,
know
I
if
mean,
that's true.
well, I'm saying you have 3,000 people watching, you have X number of people playing, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm saying just that number. I mean, obviously the subs aren't going to be every viewer, obviously, but
Mhm.
you also have ad revenue on top of the subs, so there's a lot of additional income that comes in from the stream. And so
True,
I
true.
assume that Watson is trying to build up his stream.
Yeah.
And maybe if he can get it big enough, then he can justify cutting VIA out eventually. But he's got to build up, uh, his channel first. And I don't understand the logic in saying, hey, if you want to stream your game, then I'm going to give you my password or whatever to let you stream on your equipment. That seems funky. Like he's going to come over and type with the password every time. I guess he could actually. I don't know. It seems funky. I don't know. And I agree with you with what you said, where he's not going to get a lot of viewership from just like Tekken or Injustice. There's only be a couple hundred people, but realistically, that is better than nothing for him. So
True. True.
it is a harsh rule, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does with, say, like Project M or whatever on Sundays, because they have
That's level up.
that's level up. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the only thing that level up is streaming is Wednesday night fights, Thursday night run back, and Super Smash
Sunday.
Spectaculars, and then everything else like the Friday things that I think most of the things that Commando would stream at Wednesday night fights are going to be on Super Dojo now rather than IE Battlegrounds. So
That kind
well,
of sucks for IE Battlegrounds as well, right?
Super. Yep.
yeah. So it's an interesting thing. I think Watson's really just trying to get like more exposure, like get brand exposure, I guess, for
Yeah.
Super Arcade, and then see whether he can get sponsors, and then build up his own brand from there. So
I could see that. I feel like
Yeah.
I wish he did that from the beginning. That wouldn't be a bad idea from the start. Create a brand. Super Arcade should have its own stream. And, maybe if he had started that from the beginning, we would already have like a side stream that's producing good numbers and everything. We'll see. The rationale, though it's not clear, I'm sure he has some kind of plan. And maybe this will be a good thing in the long run. Shit happens, things change. I know some people are butthurt about, not being able to see SoCal Tekken on Wednesdays and stuff, but there is good silver lining here, a lot of exposure. You guys did a great job on commentary yesterday. I don't know, I could dig it. I'm digging it for the time being. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, SoCal Tekken does have a YouTube channel, and they are uploading, the matches. So if you really want to see them, you could catch them there. Did we miss anything? Steven, you have anything to add to this concept?
No, I don't really want to talk on something I really don't know too
Yeah,
much.
fair enough. I mean, this is just basically all I really heard, and I was just trying to see if Rip and Ricksta had any more to fill in the blanks here, but we'll see. I'm excited. I really hope the Super Dojo idea works out, because, the thing you said about kind of cutting Via out of the picture, that would be a really interesting thing in the future. I mean, who knows how long it would take for Super Dojo to become something special, but let's say Super Dojo does become something really big, right? I mean, what would Via be doing then? I mean, Super Dojo's getting the views. Obviously, the staff at Super Arcade knows how to run tournaments. So what exactly would Via be contributing to the arcade other than the name Wednesday Night Fights? It's hard to say. The future is kind of questionable, but either way, the arcade has new ideas, and it's looking pretty good in there. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think there's anything else to cover, so we can move on to the topic at hand, Strong Style. It's coming up. It's on your screen right now. Strong Style, San Mateo, California, September 27th and 28th. We're all going to be there. We're super amped up. Steven, you've come on here with kind of like, it seems like you have something that you want to get off your chest. So I'm going to give you the floor, and then afterwards I'll get to asking some questions because there's some stuff I want to know about the details. So go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say, like, agenda, but I definitely wanted to, like, people, if they had questions, or just kind of really clear up a lot of the confusion. I know that it's been, like, a rough couple of months with, like, Bronson basically messing around with everybody and playing with everyone's minds as to what's going on. So, I mean, I think, like, I wanted to put an opportunity where it's just like, okay, even if Bronson came out and told you the plain truth, no one would believe him. Everyone would be like, how is he going to play us this time? And so, like, I just... You can trust from me that I'm not going to, like, play any games.
Yeah, you're the rational, non-dickhead side of Strong Style. So go ahead. Anything before I get to asking that you want to share?
Let's just let you go, and then we'll see exactly how this plays out.
The direction it goes in?
Yeah.
Okay, well, one thing I want to know is, so there's a lot of tournament organizers, there's a lot of tournaments that happen throughout the years that are called quote-unquote majors. And I'm sure you know many of them. I mean, the smart thing to do would be to discuss how things are done. And, you know, I'm sure you know how things are done. Now, in comparison to those types of majors, what do you feel is different about this Strong Style? And more specifically, what I want to know is different in terms of monetary logistics. Like how much it costs them versus how much it costs you, how much they usually make versus how much you'll usually make. I want to know those kinds of difficult to answer details. And if you can't answer them, feel free to tell me to fuck off. Go ahead.
I mean, I can answer half of that entire question real quick, is that we've never made any money off of any Strong Style. And this is probably the one that we're losing the most at. But we might be able to recoup it later using, you know, we're putting out a product later. So, I mean, it gives us the opportunity where if we needed to shop it around later and get, like, advertisements and stuff like that, the money right now isn't that big of an issue for us. But, I mean, this is a significant step up from what we've done in the past. I mean, everything before was in arcade. So
yeah,
our cost was bringing over foreign players, which, I mean, at that time when we were much younger and didn't have as much money. So, I mean, it's like that was a bigger hit than kind of this tournament has been in perspective. So this tournament is running us pretty much close to about 5K.
Yikes.
And maybe even a little bit higher, because I still have to deal with stuff like the power. We might have to get, like, an external power vendor that I've just started listening to. And then since it's like the city of San Mateo, I might need to get some insurance as well. So there's a lot of, like, surprise things that have come up, but this is sort of just like learning when you're operating a tournament, kind of like how each place does things. But I know, like, the bigger tournaments, NCR, how SCR kind of runs things. I know those tournaments, it's an expensive budget. It's much more expensive than us. And I've seen John Choi put out, like, his earnings versus what he's kind of put as collateral. And that guy could have gone broke so many times if, like, NCR didn't take off.
Didn't work out, yeah.
Because, I mean, when you work with a hotel, they kind of want you to pay up front for the rooms, and then you're kind of on the hook for, like, a buttload of rooms if people just magically don't show up. So, like, that one that John Choi had in Milpitas, I mean, that was a horrible venue. The hotel was nice, but, like, there was, like, mosquitoes flying in your mouth while you were playing.
Tight.
It was
in your mouth.
Yeah, dude, it was so bad. Like, everyone was complaining about it. You'd be playing, and then you'd just be, like, getting attacked by mosquitoes at the same time.
That's hilarious.
So, but I know, like, I saw the invoice on that one, and it, like, that was, like, almost, I felt like if I took that, I'd probably have to, like, take a loan out from, like, a loan shark or something, and like, immediately after go into hiding until I got my money back. So.
Let me ask you this. The thing you mentioned is, okay, so before Strong Style was always in an arcade, and usually it was in Golfland, Sunnyvale Golfland. And obviously this is a big switch. You're going from Sunnyvale Golfland, which is like, all right, you know, I'll sell 200 corn dogs. Let me do my tournament here. Now it's at the San Mateo Event Center, which is like, as you mentioned, it's a city-owned, like, big fucking deal. And there's going to be things like insurance. There's going to be things like, okay, what are these motherfuckers doing in here? Are they gambling? You know, they don't know what the fuck a tournament is. So touch on some of the differences between holding a tournament at an event center like this versus holding a tournament in a arcade, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Strong Style 4 was also like a hotel. That was a little bit more standard. That's like a really good transition for us. Like we had like this hotel that took care of everything for us.
That was the domain, right?
Yeah, the Domain Hotel. They were
We're
really
banned
great
from there,
with us.
right?
We're all
Yeah,
banned.
you like it's really
NorCal
unfortunate.
Regionals was the reason why we got banned.
Yeah, I don't know if I could really say exactly what happened. But let's
I just don't. We're banned.
let's just say the Tekken community was a lot more civilized than Street Fighter people. And if that came up, we probably would have handled it a little bit differently. But yeah, I mean, we're not technically banned from there. It would cost us about 20 times more than what we originally paid for it. It's
We're banned.
yeah, it's,
We're banned.
they've
Sounds like a
effectively banned us from basically setting the price point too high. So yeah, with Chris, he set us up with this place. I guess he has some contacts there,
Nice.
and he's scoped out the venue before. I guess Soul Calibur people have done a couple events at the event center as well.
Nice.
And so when we checked it out, I mean, I guess the biggest thing that came to mind is the hotel situation, because we couldn't really pin down hotel rooms for everybody. When we originally started signing the contracts for everything, it took a little bit more paperwork than it was before with working with the hotel, because they got to clear a whole bunch of stuff. They have to worry about floor plans more than like a hotel does. They have to check in with fire marshals, do a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that they can actually accommodate our event. And while we were in the works of signing our paperwork, Oracle, which is the big tech company up here in the Bay Area, decided that they're going to have like their festival where they fly out billionaires to come out and they pitch stuff to them on the same weekend.
Uh-oh.
And Oracle is literally like 5 miles away from the venue. So almost all the hotel rooms there weren't going to save us rooms.
Oh.
I'd say if there's any failure right now on our part, is that we really haven't been able to pin down a hotel. We've tried talking to people. A lot of people in that area don't really want to rent out rooms to video gamers.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of runaround and stuff like that. It's been a little frustrating, and I know like it does suck to get out to this tournament. So everybody that is coming out, it's greatly appreciated, and we'll make it up to at the actual event.
So what you say about pinning down hotel rooms, so you tried to make deals with the local hotels and trying to, secure rooms at a special rate for Strong Style, and that didn't pan out for you. But I don't know if this whole event that you're talking about with Oracle taking up hotel rooms, is that really going to affect the availability of local hotel rooms? Because everyone I've talked to who's going has already secured a hotel room. I myself have as well. So what's up with that?
Basically, what the inns in the area, they're not going to pin down hotel rooms, especially at that time that we were trying to get all the deals set up. And then we tried some places up in San Mateo. I mean, I guess the people who go to Oracle, they're not really there to stay at like the dive hotels or like the regular everyday inns.
Yeah.
So like it's more or less the higher hotels. Like there's a Ramada Inn, I guess like a exit up the street, but that was like about $50-$60 more than what it normally is per night. And so that's kind of the other thing that we dealt with, is that if we were going to make a deal with a hotel, it probably had to be within like a manageable range. But since all the prices were being drove up because of this event, we just couldn't pin down something unless we really wanted people to stay at a $200 a night hotel, or it didn't seem fair for us to try to work out a deal and say like, hey, everybody should be at this hotel. Oh, by the way, you're going to be broke when you get back home.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what is your advice as far as hotel goes for those people who haven't already pinned down a room? Where's a good option for people to stay for Strong Style?
Okay,
Yeah,
so I mean,
tell this to Rip.
Yeah, Rip.
Yeah.
Why do I gotta be the one? Why don't you book the room for once?
I'm broke.
I heard ZTS wanted to get a room with you, Ricky.
Ooh.
Yeah, Ricky, we'll share one with ZTS.
Yeah.
Tell Rip how to get a room.
All right. Well, we kind of went into panic mode and we scrambled and we got a couple people to drive. I would say the best place if you wanted to get people kind of localized in an area so that we could pick people up and bring them back real quick. There's an extended stay in San Mateo, which is about 3 freeway exits up, but it's about like 10 total minutes drive time, which is a lot better than any of the other hotels in the area that are, within reasonable range. So I would say check out that extended stay in San Mateo. We'll have people that are going to be driving there, and I really hate recommending them because those are one of the people that basically kind of shunned me when I was trying to get rooms.
Oh,
but
okay.
the price is worth it. And so like I don't really care about personal judge or grudges. Just get out there however you can.
Yeah, I like that attitude. It's more about strong style. You know, fuck the whatever in it is. You know, it's more about getting to strong style and having a good time there. All right, I'm down with that. Go on.
Hey, on that topic, sorry to cut you off, but is
Of
there a
course.
way for you to like talk to this hotel specifically just to ask for like a discount code, just to say like, hey, we're bringing people to this event. You're the closest hotel. We'd like to just bring you guests. Like,
Yeah.
would they not give you a discount code for that even?
So just talking to these guys, I've gotten so much runarounds. I've sent so many emails. It's really, I don't want to kind of get into like the whole personal part of it, but I mean, I gave her like, I showed her like, she asked, what event are you holding and what is the name of your event? And then as soon as I sent that, she became insanely hard to get a hold of. So I think she looked up what it actually was and then thought that
She
she
probably
did.
saw an episode of Avoiding the Puddles podcast, and Bronson was on there, and we were, yeah, it's over from there. Thumbs
Yeah.
I
down.
mean, she saw the featured players, and you just saw like cracked out
Oh.
Jimmy and Eris, and it's like, oh god,
Oh boy.
what, these people?
Jimmy J. Tran and Eris, we don't want that shit. Prices are going up.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, it sucks. It sucks when like you have a game that's already like really hard to market to people, so you can't really just like put in a bunch of money and just be like, hey, here it is. Just you're gonna get something out of this for sure. But now it's like people just don't want to work with you because of that stigma of just being video game players. And
Yeah, I mean,
So in the
Go ahead,
future, if you said that this was also like a Pokken tournament and you
Yeah.
can have a billion Pokemon stuff.
I should have just shelled company. I should have said like I was with Oracle or something. And
yeah,
that's-
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, what the fuck do they know? You should have told them it's a Street Fighter tournament or fucking League of Legends or whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
dude. Wow.
Dude, I didn't even tell him it was a video game tournament. But like I call him up and like I hear her talk to like I call up her like the person that screens the calls. It's like who's calling? Steven Johnson, and then like I almost never get through after that. So
Steven Johnson, fuck that guy. That's fucked up, man.
San Mateo hates me.
Well, the thing is, these types of little details is really like all me loving Tekken and me loving strong style aside, you guys really have it rough. I mean, Tekken is not that as you said, not the easiest game to market, and you guys are basically doing all this shit on your own. So, I mean, it's tough. I know it's tough. The planning, it's coming. It's like right around the corner. And if us players are like, holy shit, strong style's coming up, you tournament operators must be like rolling in your grave every day, like, holy shit, it's coming. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I don't envy you guys, man. It's gonna be rough, and as a player, I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be incredible. I can't wait.
Yeah.
What other snags have you run into? I mean, you guys are flying out a ton of players. Can we get into the process in selecting players? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I let Bronson talk to a bunch of people, and then he like soft gets them to commit until they actually buy a ticket. I mean, that's kind of like how it's been. Bronson handles all that stuff. If there's any like breakdown in terms of responsibility, I basically handle all the paperwork stuff, all the boring stuff, logistics, how the tournament's gonna be run, the rules and everything.
Boring but important.
Yeah, all the stuff that I'm really surprised people cared about, because I know like Bronson's chatting with all the Euros all day, and they're like every single day I'm getting bugged like, what's the format going to be? What's going to happen if blah 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 blah? I had no idea people cared like that seriously about it, and this was like 3 months before. But I guess that's the kind of stuff that gets the Europeans to come out. They really like our format. They really like the pool format. That's something that they're really used to. It's not something like Evo where it's like you're playing in a mini tournament to go to a bigger tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then like issues like how we're going to, if we're going to reset the bracket or not coming out of pools. Those are the kind of details, which I was really surprised that people were so, like that was the thing that was going to get people to come out to the tournament.
Yeah, let's recap on the format just so everyone's clear on it. So the format is round robin pools, and then take it away from there.
Yeah, so we're doing round robin pools, and just to clear up that, we're basically going to be taking the pool of people and we're going to be splitting them up evenly between either 16 or 32 pools. So you're at least guaranteed to get 3 matches out of it, which is more than you're going to get at your normal tournament, which was kind of our validation for it. But if it hits a certain amount of number people, you might play 4 people, you might play 5 people. It's really going to depend. We have it broken down in terms of how many people we get versus the time that we're actually allotted. And then after that, we're going to be putting people into a bigger bracket, just the regular bracket, 3 out of 5 rules. When you come out of the pools, if we do reset, if that's less than 128, we're gonna seed 1 versus 2 seeds.
Ooh.
And then if we can't reset, then I mean the loser or the second seed goes into losers automatically, and that's just an issue of time. So
yeah, so the decision whether or not you're going to do a brand new double elimination bracket after pools is going to be based on how many entrants there are, right?
yeah. And it's really unfortunate that we have to do that, but I mean, we wanted to do a couple of things when we started out this tournament. Is that we definitely want it to be done in a weekend. Like, it's really rough when a tournament makes demands of you and says, you know, be here on Friday. So then, like, literally half of your week is dedicated traveling to attending the tournament and going back home for the tournament. And that's really a big demand for, like, very little reward for many people. So, I mean, we wanted to have something where it's in a weekend. We can really focus on making the tournament really enjoyable for everybody. And part of that is having to sacrifice time and being able to plan within it. So we know exactly kind of how much time we're working with. We're buying in for some extra time just for some contingency, but yeah, that's kind of the reasoning for us setting the cap, first of all. So having the 100% or 160-person cap.
Yeah.
We needed to set a baseline where we knew that if we run the tournament at this time and these matches are going to take this long, and then add in some scrub time where things go wrong, that we can reasonably get this tournament done. And 160 was our baseline, and 128 was our baseline for resetting the bracket.
Reset.
Now, let me ask you this. A couple questions came to mind. First of all, you mentioned about other tournaments who usually do their event in 3 days, including Friday. Now, do you feel like your decision to make it a 2-day event, how do you feel like that's affected you in comparison to a 3-day event? So basically what I'm saying is, why do you think they do 3-day events, and do you wish you could do a 3-day event?
I think because I mean, we're trying to do a lot of things with this tournament. So I mean, not only are we doing the tournament, we're doing the whole recording thing. And I think having 3 days would have been great. We would have been able to get more footage of people, develop better storylines, have a better gauge every single day, like what we would want to focus on and stuff like that. But all the other tournaments that are 3 days, they're really pigeonholed because they have multiple games. I mean, most of your multi-game tournaments are going to have 5 games, 6 games, and
at least, yeah.
You know, Vice tournaments have like 12 games or something like this. And we're single game. Like, we have the luxury of being able to really get people to focus. We don't have to have a pool where this guy's playing Street Fighter at this time, and he's playing Marvel at this time, and then Tekken at this time. It's going to literally be like, okay, well, we're going to be having our Tekken tournament now, and then we might run some fun stuff with Tekken 4 and Team Tournament on the side, and we can still have everybody there. Everyone's focused. Everyone's there to play Tekken. So that's what a really good benefit of just being a Tekken-only tournament. I really wish there was more single-game tournaments like Strong Style or like Curly Mustache, because the freedom that it allows you is so you can be creative as possible with it. And yeah, it's not going to bring in as much money, but you put out a much better product. And I think like the success of Curly Mustache is probably a really good indicator of what that possibly could be. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's what makes this tournament so exciting for Tekken players, because they don't have to worry about any bullshit. You know, half the time when we go to those multi-game tournaments and we're Tekken fans, or even fans of other games that aren't Street Fighter and Marvel, we really get the can. We get the stations next to the restroom. You know, it's kind of fucked up. But these types of single-game tournaments is really like, you know, you're going to get the attention that you deserve as a fan of this game. So I'm really excited about that. The other question I had really involved about the concept of registration. And usually these multi-game majors, quote unquote, they do a registration that has like a big venue fee and then a per game entrance fee, and the venue fee goes up as it gets closer to the, you know, tournament. And you guys have chosen not to do that. It's going to be one entry fee. That's how much it costs. Doesn't matter when you enter, and this is the cutoff. How do you feel like that has affected you in comparison to majors? Do you wish you did it the other way, or how's that working?
No, definitely not. I mean, so you brought this up like maybe a month ago when you guys, or a couple of months ago when you guys were asking about like, why did they have this fee? And I mean, really what it comes down to is, so these other tournaments, when they run an event, they basically have to put down a huge down payment. So they're paying for the rooms, they're paying for the venue, they're paying for like if they need a setup, if they need like a rig set up to do the projection and stuff like that. These guys need to constantly be putting money down. And so the quickest way to get money into their pocket is to have this early entrance fee and basically punish the people who don't do it early enough. So they get all the money deposited into their account, then they can start paying off all the loans and all the bills and stuff earlier. And that also like guarantees that they have a better baseline of people that are going to be attending. Like they know exactly who's going to be there and how much they should be investing. So it's more or less like a money problem for them. Like it's purely logistics and purely monetary. But since we're funding it ourselves, like we've already like reserved ourselves that we're going to be losing X amount of money. We might recoup this much, but I mean, our total risk is pretty much set in stone. We're not trying to scam anybody out of money. We're not trying to make a profit. Oh my God, calm the fuck down.
What the fuck?
This little dog is going crazy.
Dude, my dog's going fucking nuts, dude.
What's your dog's name?
Aggro.
Aggro.
Oh my God, I'm gonna lock this guy outside in a second. But
Getting some aggro right now.
Getting aggro over there.
so I mean, we have the benefit of self-funding our own tournament. Hey, knock it off! Go away. Go outside. Go outside. Go outside. Go.
Sorry, Steven.
And we don't have to worry about like people funding. Like the tournament is pretty much paid for at this point.
It seems like you guys are walking into this situation the way smart gamblers walk in, and they're like, well, we already lost this money, but if we win, we won. You know, I like that attitude. It's a really good attitude to have when you're going into this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we have benefited so much from our format. I know there was like a lot of issues when we said that we weren't going to stream, and then repeated saying that we weren't going to stream, and then announced it. And I know there's still like people who still don't really see what we're doing, but like we're talking to sponsors, we're trying to get people to kind of help us out. You know, we couldn't really say a lot of these things because sponsors weren't in place. We couldn't really announce some of the things that we were doing, but because of our format, because we're recording everything, the product that we're selling isn't going out for a couple of months. So we don't have like this hard deadline where it's like, hey, buy into this, it's going to be good. We can get our product almost done and then go to people and be like, here's what we're putting out. Is this going to be good enough for you to put money down on it? Where do you want to kind of, how much do you want to put down on it? How much exposure do you want to get in on it? And we can actually shop out like a really fleshed out product where people can actually see and then evaluate how much money that is, instead of like selling people ahead of time that this is just going to be a really good tournament and, you know, put money into it. In terms of monetary gain, like we're not expecting people to buy in, but we're benefited by having that. So
you have the opportunity of creating a product way after the event has taken place, and that's kind of one thing that people don't really understand. All a lot of people have seen is fuck Bronson, there's no stream, fuck Bronson. And yeah, there's a lot more to it. There is a lot more to it. I've had conversations with you, Steven. I've talked to Bronson about it, and you guys have some really cool ideas, stuff that's never really been done before. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see what you guys have in store. Can you talk any more about the final product or some of the ideas you have to give people a clearer picture of why there isn't a stream, or maybe what you have in store?
So I guess like the biggest misconception that I guess we've had is, you know, kind of like why we did the stream. Or why we decided to go non-stream. So, and I mean, it kind of goes back to, we've been trying to plan Strong Style for about 4 years. Like ever since the last one kind of went down, immediately after we wanted to do another one. I mean, but because we lost Domain, that threw a big wrench in threw a huge wrench in our game, and we couldn't really do anything about that. So we went out trying to find other venues, and trying to find a venue with internet was so expensive, especially at that time, because internet's a lot more viable nowadays. But back then, getting a place with good internet was absolutely horrible.
Woo, Time Warner. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, dude, it was a struggle. So, I mean, at that point, I had been talking to Chris online on Skype, and he'd always kind of been talking about like how fighting games could be a lot like the World Series of Poker when it blew up. So all these different ideas that he had, like having stats tell stories, having having people pay attention to storylines, follow around players, and build interest around the players, and keep the game really simple for people, and just kind of have something where you can create this way that the average person can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And around that time, like we had tried to run a strong style. We got really close. Our funding dropped out. We couldn't afford the venue by ourselves. And I went to everybody. I'm just like, dude, I don't think that we can do this. But I think if we had a way of cutting out the stream, like cutting out the internet part of it, we could actually get this done and do something with recording. And I know Chris Aguila has all these ideas about how you would do it. I know that he would love
genius.
Yeah, he would love to get his hands on something like this. And so, I mean, after everybody kind of gave me all the like crazy ass stares about like how stupid the idea was, and they kind of started seeing it, I mean, it was something where it's just like on the spot, we were just like, okay, that's going to be our plan. If you can find a place with internet, that's cool. But I mean, that opens us up to so many venues. That opens us up to, you know, we could have had this in an empty warehouse and it still would have been like okay with us.
Interesting. Let me stop you right there. So you're telling me the freedom of being able to acquire this venue has a lot to do with their internet. So you don't really even have to give a shit about internet in terms of strong style, and that's why you scored this venue.
It just basically cut out a huge variable out of the equation.
Yeah.
Dude, especially with all the stuff I've seen streaming lately, like how Spooky was covering this Tekken 7 event at SD Comic Con. Like, dude, you know Spooky went in there. He tested everything, made sure everything was going to work correctly.
Of course.
And as soon as he got in there and tried to do it that day, at that time, it just absolutely didn't work.
Yeah.
Streaming is so much more difficult logistically when you're running a big event, because there's like all these things that go on at the same time as your event. There's all these, the internet usage is higher on the weekends. People start doing stuff at their own event connecting to Wi-Fi. And I mean, being able to cut that out of the equation, it opens us up to so many more possibilities. Maybe we're looking at places. There's places that we could have had this at, like restaurants that had enough space. We could have had this at places that just normally wouldn't get events that would be more than willing to help us. But I mean, this place was a good size. They say that we can have internet, but I know that it's event center internet is probably like one of the worst.
Garbage. Yeah.
So
you know, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Ask
What I was gonna say is this: the thing you mentioned right now is really grinds my gears. Is you remember that Filthy Cup they had? They hyped it up for being a big 3D tournament. Tekken Tag 2 was like the big game for that tournament, and it was named after Filthy Rich, the prior community manager. And of course, the stream comes on, and that shit does not work. No live stream. And I gotta tell you, the idea that you have and the approach where I think the big mistake really was allowing Bronson to announce it, because everyone was just like, fuck Bronson, he's a bitch. But really, what Bronson should have said, instead of fuck streaming and we want it to be old school, what he should have said is, look, strong style can't happen if we're going to stream it. So we're trying to make a better situation for everybody. We got this great idea. We're going to create this product, and we want the event to fucking happen. It can't happen if there's a stream. As opposed to Bronson just being a shithead and telling everyone to fuck themselves.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have got like all the exposure. You literally wouldn't have had like random person across, you know,
from Poland and shit,
just talking shit about us.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was kind of one of the big things with it too, is that we had so much time, and between when we were talking about it to when we actually got, you know, approved to do it, Evo announced that they were going to start doing Tekken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now we got to come up with some way of keeping people hooked. So, I mean, what Bronson did was actually, like, I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It's funny how it turned out. It's fucking, the stupidest thing turned out to be the best thing you could have done, because it got everyone talking about it. I mean, lots of people who don't even give a shit about Tekken were like, yo, strong style, no stream, sick, you know? So, that's cool.
Yeah. It's one of those cases where it's like, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
And we knew that we were going to come out with it later. Like, especially at that time, we couldn't announce that we were going to be recording everything. We were trying to do a whole bunch of stuff and working with sponsors to get us like the recording stuff and everything. And so when Bronson said that, like, he was going to go on and announce it, and so he types to me on Skype. He's like, "Oh, what can I announce?" And I'm like, you know, I don't really know what we can announce. We just signed the papers, so I mean, announce where it's going to be at. I guess you could start announcing the format, and I guess just mention that we're not going to be streaming it.
That's all you told him?
Yeah, and then he took that and he basically like blew up the internet for
He
about
Bronson that shit up. Okay, I like that. Turned it up. Nice.
yeah,
Okay,
much better than I would have done it. So yeah, it's
well executed plan. I like that. Next thing I wanted to ask. So I went to Evo and I got a chance to chit chat with Harada, and he mentioned Strong Style, and he's been mentioning, oh, he might be interested in it. Is there any way you can talk about, what we can expect from Namco at Strong Style, or is that all top secret information?
I mean, I don't. Right now, I'm not working directly with Damco. That might be more on Bronson's side, but I know Michael Murray has gone out and said that he's going to be out there, like for sure.
Awesome.
So I mean, we have Michael Murray. I know Harada has some like family stuff.
Uh-oh.
So I mean, I don't know if he's going to be there, and plus he's like managing 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, dude.
Well, that's sick.
So
I mean, any
don't
kind
know.
of presence would be good. That sounds great. I don't know. What else are we missing? Is there anything else I'm missing in terms of the logistics involved? I feel like it's such a huge task on your hands that it's like I don't even want to fuck with you anymore.
No, I mean, dude, like really right now, I'm waiting for September 5th to drop and getting the numbers that we're going to get and then just starting planning. Like right now, I'm in a holding pattern until I exactly know how many people are going to be there. And then we can just focus on making the event as like great as possible, because then Chris can go off and start planning his thing. We'll have like when you sign up, we have like that survey that everybody can do. So we have a good idea, like the type of people that we're going to be interviewing and how we're going to interview people and stuff like that. So register if you can. Once again,
Cynic.
yeah, dude, what the hell? Cynic still hasn't registered. I know there's a bunch of people from NorCal that hasn't registered. So I mean,
Wait, what's the cutoff? September 5th, you said?
September 5th, and we've been selling tickets like crazy. Like I'm looking at my phone right now, and we already had like 2 people while we were talking.
Beautiful.
So we're selling out these tickets faster than I think the time will come up. So don't procrastinate on this. Sign up as soon as possible. Don't wait for the deadline.
I heard that the number is already over 100 for signups.
Yes, we are over 100. I can check real quick, but I think
No, I'm looking at it right now. So they have the available tickets left, and right now there's 53 tickets left. So that means you have 107.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, 53 left, and there's a lot of procrastinators. So
Yeah, a lot of
could've-
those 53 are going to get taken up by locals. You know, local last minute, oh, my plans fell through for Strong Style, boom, I'm in. So if you're coming out of town, you're going to be really fucking kicking yourself if you did not register. You know?
Yeah, so everyone registered now. Make sure NorCal can't even represent at their own
Damn.
tournament.
Yes, beautiful.
Did Jimmy sign up? That's what I want to know.
Oh, Jimmy
Like,
hasn't signed up.
Jimmy J.
hasn't
Tran.
signed up.
Jimmy is the biggest procrastinator. When I had to pick him up for the world tournament, he called me on the day like pretty much when his flight was supposed to land. He's like, "Hey, Rickster, something happened, and my flight's coming in tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay, you hella missed your flight, huh?" Yep.
Yeah, you know it.
So he's
Yeah.
gonna miss the cutoff date. That's gonna be so tight.
Like in terms of people that I know for sure haven't done it, like I don't think Q-Dog's done it. K30 hasn't done it.
God.
Man.
Mr. Naps hasn't done it.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I really hope they do it. That would fucking suck if they didn't register for
I mean-
NorCal Strong Style.
Realistically, it looks like there's not going to be a reset after pools then, right? Because it looks like
Yeah.
we're going to cross 128 pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be closer to that. And we'll reevaluate the numbers. I mean, I'm pretty confident in my math in terms of like budgeting everything, and it's just kind of unfortunate. But who knows? Maybe people are like, "Oh, this is 128. I'll be nice and not enter."
I
Wow.
doubt that.
So wait a minute. So as a tournament operator, you actually want it to stay below 128.
No, as a tournament operator, I don't really care who comes out. I want everybody to come out. I want
Okay.
even if you're not even entered in the tournament to come out.
Right,
Because
yeah.
we're not charging a viewing fee. Come out, hang out. We have casual stations. Come out and play fucking casuals. If you
Free,
just like
right?
free on the weekend. Yeah, just come out and fucking
That's
play.
sick. That's sick. No fucking
That
pay
is
for a
awesome.
venue to watch. No fucking pay for a venue to play. Just come over, play Tekken, even if you're not going to enter the tournament. Beautiful. Go on.
And
That's
I mean-
all in NorCal.
Yeah, this is NorCal's gift to like everybody. And I mean, I don't really care if you enter or not. The fees are just so whatever at this point, and from me and Bronson's end, that it's just like come out and enjoy yourself. We want people to be excited about Tekken. I mean, we have Tekken 7 coming out. We're building towards something bigger with the whole recording and putting out this really elaborate pre-edited video for everybody. I mean, just come out and enjoy it. We're not really focused on anything except for people being enjoyed about it or enjoying the event. And then later we'll worry about all the stuff on making like the stream look good and making all the other stuff look good. We can focus on having a really good event. Just come out and enjoy it. So
that sounds dope. Sounds like a great attitude, and it sounds like a great place for fans of Tekken to go, just in general, to watch, to play. I mean, it sounds awesome. Let's see, what else are we missing here? So we have a big group of international players coming. Probably going to be the most, other than the global tournament, I guess, the most international players in one place at one time from different countries, which is very, very cool. Lots of heavy hitters. I mean, I don't know where else to go with this. I mean, is there anything I'm missing? Rixta, anything you want to ask Steven that we've missed? It's going to be so sick, and it's so close. You guys better fucking register, man.
buying
Well,
stream.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
fine,
one thing that Steven said that Bronson's handling, but I mean, is there any news on like any more like international players? Like, is there anything that you can say about like any certain player coming that might not be known to the public yet?
No, I don't really have too much on that front. I do know that I guess Devil can't come now. The Italian,
Really?
yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess he had some visa issues.
Uh-oh.
But I guess that's always going to be the case. I don't think I've ever heard of a tournament where like some foreign player that was supposed to be there didn't have visa
Right.
issues. Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate. That's kind of like the sad news of the day. But we're still trying to get a couple of people. We're still working on people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That is
Bronson-
crazy.
Last I heard, Saint was confirmed. Is that true?
Bronson's like cough Korea cough in the chat right now.
There you
So
go.
I guess we can say it. I guess Saint.
Beautiful. The world champion of Tekken Tag 2 is going to be at Strong Style, and I know he loves America too, so that's tight.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I don't know if he bought his ticket. That was kind of like the thing. So I mean, he needs to hurry up, buy his ticket, and hurry up, and we'll do whatever we can to help him get out here. But
We got another Jimmy J. Tran on our hands, huh? Over there in Korea.
yeah.
He hasn't registered yet.
No, he has not registered. Him or Japan haven't registered yet. Europe's been a lot better about it, but I know there's some Europeans that still haven't registered.
Get
Yeah,
it
so that's
You're
together.
gonna
basically
come across-
that basically means like there's like 5 slots that are still available. It says 53 right now, but it's really like 47
Yeah.
because like all the Asian people haven't registered yet. So
Okay, so
you guys need to hurry up and register so Japan can't show up.
Yeah, really, I know.
They'll just
They
hang
can
out.
play through casuals, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Nobi comes over here and can only play casuals because there's no spot. Beautiful. That would be sick.
Oh, so, and speaking about the casuals, I guess I didn't bring this up too. So we're doing the format of how we're laying out everything in the venue. So what we're planning on doing is we're going to have like casual stations where people can go down and play Tekken Tag 2. And then we're going to be setting up an old school Tekken arcade where it's going to be like Tekken 2, Tekken 3,
Whoa.
Tekken 4, DR, whatever games we can get over there. We'll do like a rotation and people just get down and play Tekken. It's like a
Awesome.
celebration of Tekken.
Right.
So it's
Awesome. That sounds great.
it's something I'm really excited for. I'll probably be like on Tekken 2 by myself. playing
Damn,
some
the old
players
school
like
shit.
that. Dude.
I like it. That's the first time they made King's Tail move around like that. That
Yeah,
shit was awesome. Tekken 2. Oh man, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this event. It's coming. I'm missing tournaments so I can heal up and make sure I can walk for Strong Style. I'm so amped up. In case do you guys have anything else to add about this before we start calling people bitches? And I know, Steven, who your bitch calling is going to be. It's going to be the fucking lady from the, whatever it was in. What was it
Extended
called? The
stay.
late extended stay in. Okay.
Yeah, don't
so
give her like if you guys go there, don't give her shit or nothing.
I'm
dude.
giving her
no,
shit.
We're calling her tonight, dude.
You're
I said-
that motherfucker giving Steven Johnson shit,
don't
huh?
don't give her shit.
I'm kidding. Don't give her shit.
Yeah, I was serious about that. Too.
Okay. So, do we have our bitch callings? Are you guys ready to roll on that?
Bronson wants us to mention that we're doing something too. If you guys really want to get food, we're gonna try to. We want people to be there because we're still doing a bunch of recording. We want to do interviews and stuff. We want people to be there, and I mean, people always hear about Lucas from whoever visits from NorCal at that time. We usually always take them to Lucas, and everyone loves it to death. So we're actually trying to get some deal and get a bunch of Lucas out for people. We'll work. We'll probably be on like Twitter or the Facebook page. Check in there, and then we'll probably try to get a good gauge of how many we're supposed to buy. But we're trying to take care of people, and I know like the place is also next to a bunch of food places, like maybe 2 or 3 blocks down.
Nice.
The venue's in a really nice place. It's just unfortunate it's not next to any hotels, but dude, if you need to like go get food, there's food nearby, and if you don't want to go get food, we're bringing food to you, and it's Lucas. So
let me clear that up for people that are listening, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, what the fuck is that? So Little Luca's is a sandwich shop that is, I mean, if you go there, it looks like just a house. It looks like just some person's house. And you wait in this long-ass line, and they make these sandwiches that are, like, out of the fucking movies. You know, it's, like, hardcore, crazy-ass sandwiches with crazy bread, and it's, like, legit, really, really good shit. And the fact that these guys are trying to cater Little Luca's, if you have been there, you would be shitting your pants. That's more exciting than Nobi coming. Yeah. Like, damn, Little Lucas is going to be there? Fuck that. Who cares about any Korean player? That shit is better than any Tekken player being at Strong Style. That is dope. That is incredible. Because this is like one of those things where every single time you set foot into NorCal, you're like, yo, we got to make some extra time to stop by Little Lucas. Yeah. That shit is hella good. So that's awesome. And it just shows how much you guys care about the people that are going to be there. The people that take it out of their time to be at Strong Style, it's going to be really worth it for you guys. So get
Rip
on
was
registering.
so hyped for Lucas, he just left. He's like, I'm going there right
Rip
now.
was like, Lucas, I'm out of here. I can't even hear about this shit anymore. Okay. Sounds fantastic. Lucas is going to cater. Go ahead, Steven.
There was somebody, I don't want to say it's either like Chet or it was Tensai-kun, where they bought like they sell this garlic sauce, which is like...
Oh, it's definitely Leo, Tensai-kun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he brought it home like to Iowa or wherever he was at the time, and this garlic sauce, which is the best thing in the fucking world, is basically, it comes pre-dipped in garlic sauce, and it's ridiculously good. And I guess he had it explode in his luggage when he brought it back. And so his food just basically, or his entire clothes smelled like garlic for like a week. Like
I wouldn't mind smelling like Little
awesome.
Lucas. Yeah, that shit sounds good. Sounds great. Yeah, man, that shit's going to be tight. It's going to be super dope. You guys have anything to add about this whole idea?
Lucas.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's amped up. Nobody cares about Tekken anymore. Sign up for your Little Lucas.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, once again, I guess just before, that's just everybody should come out. I don't really care like if people enter or not. It's not really about like making money or anything like that. It's going to be an event where we really want to cater to the people. And since we're not streaming it, we can focus all of our resources in making it a really good event for people. So, and I guess the other part of that is, since we're going to be doing this recording, this is something where we really want people to get interested in Tekken, and we really want like personalities to come out. We really want people to really enjoy the game when they're at the event. So, I mean, come out, try your best to have a good time, and we'll try our best to make it easy for you to do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The idea you guys have of creating stories behind players and stuff like that, that's a brilliant idea. I can tell you from personal experience, and I'm sure everyone else agrees, that even when it's a game that you don't necessarily like, when you know about the players and the history behind the players, it really creates a story. And you don't need to know the details on whether or not you could have tech rolled left or whether or not you could have ducked the high. What really matters is the expressions on these people's faces, because they want that shit. They care about ducking under the high. And when they fuck it up, you can see it in their eyes. And that's really the hook. That's what you need to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best events that I can remember where like you could just feel that anticipation of every single hit happening was that SBO call that you guys ended up taking at the fucking San Mateo GameStop or whatever the fuck it was. Because like
the one that no one will ever see.
Yeah,
ever.
Never seen it.
Dude, and
No one had camera there, just like 10 people.
Yeah, and it just so happens to be, according to Rip and Rixta, my best performance of my life.
dude, you were playing pretty fucking spot on that tournament. So
Dude, that was crazy.
and like, because every single hit, like fucking like you would hit a low and everybody like and then like dude, when you blocked 3 orbital heals in a row, and like
God.
everybody was going fucking wild in the background. Block fucking orbital heal. Oh, he's back again.
Well, because he blocked it crouching, dude. He didn't just block it standing there. He blocked it from crouching 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I ran up, ducked in his face, and then stood up for orbital every time. Yeah, that shit was awesome, man. I really... The tournament was whack, though. Let's not forget about the tournament, how it took 18 hours and shit.
I didn't run that tournament.
Yeah, of course not.
I stepped in at the end to like at
You
least try to
saved
get
the
it
day.
started.
You guys all saved the day. That shit was going to be a disaster at first,
Yeah.
so
That would
awesome.
that would have sucked. But then it turned out like at the end, everybody's outside watching all of us like having the time of our fucking lives in there. And I mean,
That shit was hype.
that's the kind of shit that I want. That's where it's like we have Tekken, we have people who enjoy Tekken and know what's going on in Tekken, and just having that enthusiasm was like one of the coolest things in the world. So
Memorable, yeah, and I guarantee Strong Style is gonna have much more of that. So can't wait. September 5th is the cutoff. Make sure you guys register for Strong Style. You know they're gonna run out of spots before the time comes up, so get on that shit. Hotels, you guys heard him. Whatever it was, extended stay or whatever. Get your acts together. Rip, get your act together. Get a hotel room. I don't think we have anything else to talk about in terms of Strong Style, so we can get to calling bitches. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
go ahead.
Well, mine's basic. Yeah, well, actually, I want to know: did Just and James sign up for Strong Style yet?
no.
Okay, so he's a bitch. Cynic is a bitch. I'm pretty sure MYK hasn't signed up yet. He's a bitch.
Oh
Anyone?
no, Mike signed up. Mike signed up. I
He's
saw
still
All
a
right,
bitch, though.
he
He's still-
saved himself.
I
He's
wanted
not a bitch.
to ask you about that because he signed up and he's like, "This is gonna be my last Tekken tournament." Is that kind of like the sentiment for a lot of people down there? Like,
I don't think so. Anyone who says this is going to be my last tournament can go fuck themselves. Especially if they do that shit on Facebook or anything like that. They can go fuck themselves immediately. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
how do you know about Facebook stuff?
I've heard about it. I've heard all about Facebook stuff. I'm not interested. Anyway, okay. So those are the bitch callings. Go ahead.
Basically, anyone that is planning to go to Strong Style, especially Cynic, and Cynic is gonna try to sign up on September 6th. I know it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just know it. And he's like, dude, they're not taking last at the door registration.
What the
What the
hell?
hell?
What the hell?
So, like, oh my god, he is a bitch. James is a bitch. They're gonna sign up eventually. I hope. But if they miss it because of that, because of some stupid shit like that, they're bitches. So, and anyone else that's planning on going and hasn't signed up yet, they're bitches too.
Okay, I can accept that. What do you think, Rip?
I'm gonna call my boss a bitch because he had me interview a guy to replace me. So
Are you
Boss.
serious?
yeah, I'm probably gonna
That
lose the job.
sucks.
Wow.
I've been too busy, man, on that other project. It's I wasn't around.
Hey, man, having
That-
multiple jobs is a good thing, dude.
Well, I won't have that going for me much longer.
Okay, so your boss is a bitch. Hopefully, he doesn't watch this podcast. What do you
Suck a
think?
dick.
What? Damn! Suck a dick, boss. I like that shit. Okay, boss, suck a dick. What do you think, Steven? Are we going with extended stay here?
No, because I mean, I don't want that to kind of be like a big issue. Go stay there and we'll pick everybody up. We'll try to get everyone.
Talk
set
shit
up.
after Strong Style. It's cool.
Yeah,
we'll have you back on.
we'll have a lot more shit to talk about.
Okay.
But I guess my bitches would be like, because I know when we announced our tournament and we announced like the whole streaming thing, that set a bunch of people like a bunch of fucking different directions, and I didn't want this to kind of like we're gonna be doing this and that to like kind of shut people up and make them feel stupid. But the stuff that people were doing at that time, like when we were trying to get Wonky to come out, like you'd have people on forums or people in like video comments saying like, well, I donate to Wonky, but you're not streaming it, so I'm not gonna do blah blah blah. I'm not gonna pay money. And that's the most fucking bitch made thing in the world, because Wonky updates this site. He keeps you updated on these forum players
the
that you
time.
fucking love doing without asking for anything in return.
Right.
He does all this shit that basically keeps people interested in Tekken, and you're not going to help him out because you're not getting anything from it. Like, this guy's entire, like, the only reason why we want to do anything is because he doesn't ask for anything.
Right. Exactly.
And that was like one of the most frustrating things, and I didn't want to like blow up at that time, because it's just like, I know when people announce it, they're going to feel really shitty, and hopefully that they'll like change their tune. But I know that people who say that shit, they're not going to donate to him anyways. They're just trying to guilt us into doing a fucking stream, and that's absolutely fucking bitch made. And I just, like, that's one of the more egregious things. And I think like there's still some stuff with people inside the community that are still kind of doubting us. And I know what we're trying to do with this non-streaming, recording everything and putting out like a product later idea probably doesn't sit great with everybody. But I'm more upset with like the leadership within the fighting game community that still kind of don't see the positives, and don't, like, we still have to argue about why this is a good thing or what it could mean for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a leader in the community, you should know that this is something that you can't do. Like, this isn't Evo where your biggest player gets eliminated off stream. The fucking most hype player gets eliminated off stream. You have your Evo champion from 2 years ago get eliminated off stream. Like that's something that just ruins your product, and it's really unfortunate that that these people don't see the flaws in this and want us to succeed at it. So, like James Chen, thanks Bronson.
Okay, Steven calling James Chen a bitch, sidestep bitch, I guess, around the corner. But yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. And this is a very ambitious thing, and I think you guys deserve and need the support of as many people as possible. So I can agree with you. That is a bitch move, and I believe in you guys. I believe in you guys. You guys are great at running events, and Seglia is a genius when it comes to post-production. So sounds great.
So if you don't trust me or Bronson, you can trust Segula.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, dude, you saw what that guy was doing with Evo. Like, imagine if you gave him, like, a fucking chance to breathe and make it look fucking absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That's the shit that you should be excited for. You don't have to trust me or Bronson. We're fucking assholes. So you can trust Seg to get his shit done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the best part about that is, this is gonna help him, get better at what he does. This is a complete, outside of streaming, but it's like now that maybe the next big tournament that Segly is a part of, he knows what he can do to, from strong style and bring it to the next big tournament. So
this, potentially this whole post-production idea, this could be something really cool. This could be something that changes tournaments in the future. This is what the goal is, internet. It's not about this one stream. If it were just one stream, it would have just happened and it would have gone by and it would have been sick for 2 weeks and we would have forgotten about it. This is something that could be very, very special. And as far as I'm concerned, you guys have my full support. I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Okay, that was a good heartfelt bitch calling. I loved it.
That's like 2 months in the making right there.
You were holding it in. Bitch calling constipation. I love clearing that up for people. Anytime I help people out with that, I'm happy. Okay, I gotta say, my bitch calling was set in fucking stone because I was so pissed about that.
Oh God!
I was so
I already
pissed.
know who you're calling.
It was set in stone. I carved the epitaph of this week's fucking bitch calling, and it was gonna be Time Warner. And let me tell you guys over at Time
They're
Warner,
bitches for sure.
you guys turned my frown upside down. I love you guys. You guys are great. I got the new upgrade, and it's even more tantalizing that Rixta doesn't have it. Beautiful. Majestic.
It's so good.
So I don't know what you want to call that. Reverse, inverse bitch calling. Who knows what that is? Obtuse. But the bottom line is, Rixta's a bitch. And he lives in the fucking ghetto. Fuck you. You live in the ghetto. Show's over.